the Overwatch community don't seem to like my content, even though I've broken some of the biggest stories in their game, despite having, like, you know, played it for 2 weeks. But my Overwatch League videos all do really well traffic-wise. I never understand it. We always go close to like 30,000 views on them, which, you know, is about 10k over the average for my channel. I revealed, well, not revealed, it was reported by Jacob Wolf, but I talked about the thing he revealed, which is the low-effort content. Come on in. That's why I'm not famous. He revealed that the owners of the Overwatch League had retained a law firm suggesting there might be a lawsuit in the not too distant future between the owners and the league. And obviously, I did a lot of speculation in the video, but I absolutely support them. I think they were idiots and rubes and really stupid to buy into the league for between 20 million and 40 million for an Overwatch League franchise slot, which is hilarious and terrifying in equal measure. They also do deserve to have promises delivered upon. I think Activision Blizzard sold them a bill of goods. I think they really did sell them a bill of goods, and I think they've got every right to seek legal recourse, because I think the Overwatch, there was a lot that was misrepresented. Remember, I saw the original presentation. I saw the fabled bull case for, well, the league could be as big as WWE and all this nonsense, right? I definitely think they've got a reasonable case, assuming that's what it's about, right? We now get to know a little bit more about Season 6 and the changes that are coming up, right? And so, remember, Overwatch is a garbage esport right in its conception, because I don't think they've ever had a season have the same format season to season. So how would I ever measure it? It's like, like in baseball, they always go, oh, well, it was, you can't count that, and they had that back then, and, innings work differently, and all of this stuff. So you have all this, but that's a game that's like 150 fucking years old, guys. This started officially in 2016. They've never had the same format or same model. Yeah, not even the same meta. Like, drastically different. And one that was, objectively worse, obviously, with GOATs or whatever. You can see here, they've unveiled the changes for their upcoming season. Overwatch League Season 6 set for massive changes. Blizzard has a big task to ensure positive viewership numbers. Now remember, this is on esports charts. We talk about them a lot on the stream. They love the fact that I talk about them on the stream. I love the work they do. I think it's an invaluable resource in an industry that's obsessed with numbers. And it says, Overwatch 2. Remember, we have to call it Overwatch 2. It's hilarious, by the way, that they literally launched a sequel and no one even remembers. Like, how fucked is your game? You've made a sequel to it, and everyone's just like, yeah, whatever. It just looks the same. Yeah, exactly. Tasty's got it right. It should be called Overwatch 1.2. Yeah, exactly. It's the same fucking thing. So it is technically Overwatch 2. I accidentally installed the fucking thing, right? Because I thought to do the fucking Loverwatch gameplay stream I was gonna do on Valentine's Day. Which I didn't do because, one, I'm never going to, screen capture, and it wouldn't work with the fucking Chrome plugin. It was, I thought you had to play the game. I thought you had to install the game. Their incredible dating sim, Loverwatch, it was just a shit website. It was just a website. It's not even in the client. So I installed Overwatch 2, immediate emails to my inbox, like, hey, welcome back, Gonzo. Oh no, fucking get me out. Learn all about the new battle pass. Nah, I'm alright, Bobby fucking Kotick. I'm fine. So I shouldn't have logged in. I did it for you guys. You see the things I do. The things I do for love. So Overwatch 2 is esports scene. The Overwatch League is one of the best in the world. Might even be technically true. That's the horrifying reality. A stage where the best talents come together to strut their stuff, so fans always look forward to the action unfolding. Luckily, the starting date for the Overwatch League has been revealed, so they can mark their calendars. This is fucking ironic, obviously. You've laid it on too thick here. The ruse is up. As they look ahead to some scintillating action from the highly anticipated event. Organised by Blizzard Entertainment, the Overwatch League will feature 20 teams from across the globe battling it out on top as the best Overwatch 2 pros. There is also regional pride at stake, so the season ends up being quite a roller coaster. This is the calendar announcement, how they're doing everything, all the ins and outs. They've divided it up into two conferences. They've redone it, right? The West Division is going to have the league kick off with a professional versus amateur tournament where contender teams will battle Overwatch League teams. And then their regular season will just be the Overwatch League teams. And then in the East, the league is going to become bigger and include all of the contenders teams, and they will play in the Overwatch League throughout the year. So, can anyone see the problem? I don't know if you know about contenders. I wouldn't expect anyone to know about Overwatch contenders. Overwatch contenders is a fucking mess. It's one of the worst attempts at catering to grassroots esports I've seen in my 19 years, right? It's absolutely terrible. In fact, I worked on a story that never got published where I had a whistleblower essentially come forward and basically prove that Activision Blizzard were allowing, it was the Infinite Gaming Group, I think, the ones that bought Optic. They were basically buying up, controlling interests in all of the contenders teams, or attempting to, and then putting the players on insane like buyouts. So if anybody else wanted to like airlift them into a team, they were going to profit off them like they were fucking cattle or something. I've still got all the material for it. Maybe I'll write that up one day. I might save that for the book on the Overwatch League. Activision Blizzard could have just put a stop to that. I mean, listen, the whole thing's a mess. If you want to get into it, you want to start asking questions about why is there like only really one player agency that just so happens to represent pretty much the entirety of the Overwatch League. There's loads of stuff in Overwatch that never got talked about because Activision Blizzard is such petty, vengeful scum. Basically, everyone's too scared to talk about it. But I've got enough for a book on the Overwatch League, and enough for a book on the CGS, and enough for a book which I've already started writing essentially called The Party Is Over, The Grand Failure of Esports. And on top of that, I have just got, as you've seen from my Substack, pretty much 15 years of work that's no longer in circulation or publication that I can cobble probably 2 books from, maybe more. I should just go self-published and retire. So, Contenders is trash and has been trash for years, and they've done nothing with it, and being in a Contenders team is meaningless. I guess this is like some sort of attempt late in the game to like try and elevate Contenders. You have to understand that like the official Overwatch League Twitter account wouldn't even tweet out like when Contenders matches were happening. They have their own separate like social media, you know what I mean? It's like, fuck's sake. I think someone told me as well they didn't even put Contenders matches like in the client like they used to do. Like, does anyone remember when the Overwatch League just openly fucking essentially view botted to get inflated their numbers? Do you remember when they were embedded on all those wikis and the stream just used to pop up in the client and everyone was going, embedded views don't count towards the views, and then later on Twitch had to sort of sell Curse because they were the people that were doing it. Do you remember how that just happened and no one said a fucking thing about it? No one objected. They let Contenders essentially go to seed. They let them, go fallow, and this is probably an attempt sort of late in the game to like sort of rejuvenate the product. But here's the problem. If I have paid you $20 million to be in your exclusive league, and I am buying a franchise slot that I build for you, either because we do a revenue share and it makes me money, or I sell it for an inflated price because the whole thing was run like multi-level marketing right from day one, you massively devalue my investment if you just let cunts into the league for free. For free. You're letting them in for free. They do it for free. Where's their 20 mil? They're meant to be the guys buying into the league. We're meant to be doing expansion slots. I don't even know what an Overwatch League team would actually fucking theoretically sell for now. I don't even know if you could offload it. I really don't know. That's got to be what the Sheridans thing is about. I would be fucking livid. I'd be livid. I mean, obviously, the funny part is as well, because it's not my money. That's the attitude for these esports orgs, these particularly the American ones. They lure in the venture capitalists with a bunch of fucking fake numbers, absolute bunkum about the robustness of the industry, bold predictions about where they're going to be in 5 fucking years that have no semblance of reality or sanity about them, and also just massively lie about the consumer revenue generated from the average esports fan. Bring in the venture capitalists. They go, bosh, there's 60 mil. They spend it all. They piss it all up against the wall. The venture capitalist goes, bosh, there's 40 mil, you know? So, and it's not their money and they don't give a fuck. There should be way more outrage about this and it should be public. But again, it's Activision Blizzard, petty and vengeful, big players in the industry. They've been bought by Microsoft. You may as well get all your digs in on Activision Blizzard now. They're not going to exist as the same corporate entity in a very short period of time. Now is the time to speak up, guys. I'd be furious. I'd be so furious about this. I even referenced this in my speech at ESIC. I said, this is the state of esports where it's like we build a $20 million buy-in league. We fuck it up continually. The state the Overwatch League is in now, it isn't even legal to play Overwatch in China. The biggest esports market. So let's put that point on the fucking pinky that I'm extending for some reason. You can't even legally play the fucking game in China because they, Activision Blizzard, set in motion the termination of a publishing deal that stood for years without a replacement. They've got 4 Chinese teams. Hilariously, one of the teams is owned by NetEase, who are the people they terminated the distribution deal with. Hangzhou, Guangzhou, Shanghai, and Chengdu, we don't even know if they're going to be able to participate in this league at all. That's 4 whole franchises you've utterly fucked with one business decision. And by the way, if you think it was some sort of insane, long play, strategic termination, it wasn't, because one of the executives at NetEase involved said it all came down to one jerk. Again, go watch my video about it. They said it was one jerk, one jerk. It was just one asshole at Blizzard fucked everybody. You've devalued my product there on the pinky point, massively. Remember, it's meant to be this big, fascinating international league. You made your game illegal to play in the biggest esports market. I paid $20 million for this, did I? That's fucking so wild. It beggars belief. By the way, where's all the wall-to-wall coverage about that? Where is the outrage? Where are the opinion pieces saying about this? Where are the team owners saying, I can't believe Activision Blizzard have fucked this? You know what? I've seen like 2 articles about it, and I've seen Chinese players going sad lol because they can't play World of Warcraft. This is mental. This is mental. This is so destructive to their own ecosystem. But no one talks about these problems in the business. Like, it's me, Thorin, Lewis Mira, Eminem's is a good guy and Nort's a good guy, but they focus on North American Counter-Strike primarily rather than they get the concept. We're really running out. And the fans don't care. I mean, that's the madness. If you love Overwatch and you love the Overwatch League and you want it to thrive and succeed because, you can't get enough of fucking Widowmaker's feet or whatever, whatever. But in fact, actually, no, I'll meet you halfway here, Overwatch fans, even though I do find you hilarious. Let's assume you're not just like the Tumblr Watch Brigade, who've all just come because they love the Rule 34 fucking content, right? And you're actually an esports fan, and you actually like this piece of shit game. The disservice you've been done with something you've invested in. These franchises don't even fucking exist anymore. Not only, if you're a Chinese fan, like Activision Blizzard have just said, fuck you, right? Mega. 2 teams will now be under new guises. They're doing rebrands. Now, look, I'll talk a little bit about this in a moment. I talked about it in the Esports Gospel, so if you listen to that, you are going to hear some of the same stuff. But generally on my Twitch streams, you'll notice when I do the Esports Gospel, the demeanor is, I'm just so done with this industry. It's like a hostage video, like, esports is treating me well. It's like that, right? It's done in that demeanor. My Twitch streams, the reason I can never, sustain, an 8-hour Twitch stream is I try and bring a bit of fire to the presentation, a bit of animation, do all the fucking speeches and the funny little rants and stuff. That's what people expect, but it's hard to be on for 8 hours, I can't just sit there eating ramen like Hassan, you know what I mean? I don't think that's good content. 2 teams are going to be seen under the new guises, right? Paris Eternal is going to relocate to Vegas, and they're going to become Vegas Eternal. So Eternal, you fucking killed them! It's just mental. It's so mental. Don't call them eternal. They're not eternal. They weren't eternal, were they? Philadelphia Fusion. One of the big ones. I mean, obviously, yeah, fuck Philly fans, right? Listen, I wanted Philly to win the Super Bowl. And I thought that calling was bullshit because they hadn't called that type of call all fucking game. And then, the Chiefs need one, right? So, and obviously, Raiders fan, fuck the Chiefs. But I'll also just say, fuck Philly sports fans. So, you know, there's a lot of people being told to fuck off there. Philadelphia Fusion has completely rebranded itself, and they are Soul Infernal, and they're just going to Soul. Now, listen, no one wants to be in Philly, but what if I'm a Philly fan? Like, what if I'm a legit Philadelphia Fusion fan, right? I love Philadelphia Fusion. I got the fucking t-shirt on with that logo that looks like the Springfield Isotopes. And I go to bed Sunday. Oh, I've had a wonderful weekend consuming Philadelphia Fusion content, and maybe I'll be Tracy in the morning. And you go to sleep, and it's Monday, and you wake up. You now support the Soul Infernal. Soul! It's not even the same continent. What the fuck? What the fuck has happened to my life? Now listen, right? As I said on the Esports Gospel, to repeat myself, I'm an NFL fan. Obviously, we all know stories of franchises, you know, like Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. I'm a fucking Raiders fan, so, you know, we had the Oakland and the LA thing, which was what really opened the door to all of the franchise movement. Then we went back to fucking Oakland, because it was never really good LA we were in, and now obviously we're in Vegas. So, look, I get it, right? But, like, you stay in the same league. You stay in the same country. Like, for fuck's sake. To build up a fan base in a regional sport, like stick and ball sports are. Another reason, by the way, that, like, the regional thing was fucked from the start, because it just wasn't, it's not sustainable in esports. It doesn't work, and it actually diminishes the great thing about esports, which is anyone in the world can watch it anytime live. When you walk away from a fan base that you've, like, just built up, it does fucking affect you. There was a lot of talk when we fucking announced that we were going to Vegas, right? And by the way, you don't want Raiders fans ever coming to Vegas. There were fist fights on in the fucking first game. The Raiders fans are notorious. Not just the fans, the team. If you go look it up on the NFL arrest tracker, we've had the most arrests. It's not even close. Like, we've had every violent criminal play for us. There was so many people saying, we don't want you to go to Vegas. We're pissed off about it being our last season in Auckland. There'll be some people, by the way, who maybe just tapped out on football altogether. Especially, like, you know, the crazy one obviously is the Cleveland Browns becoming the Baltimore Ravens. Browns are back. You know, like, so it comes at a cost. You can't just do this. At least I'm an American football fan, so I suppose I still have a team. Well, I'll tell you, I used to be a big basketball fan. And Duncan can tell you this. My knowledge of, like, you know, the Bulls era, essentially, is, like, pretty good. I used to get up and watch the games. But I was a Seattle Supersonics fan. I loved the Seattle Supersonics team, right? That franchise just blipped out. And I said, well, fuck basketball. I don't care. You know, once you're out the game for a few years, it's never the same when you try and get back into it. And I don't even like watching basketball now. They lost me as a fan forever by taking away my franchise. It comes at a cost. It should come at a cost. You shouldn't be making these decisions lightly. Because the Philadelphia Fusion isn't like a real team. It is a name, it is a brand, trademarked and registered to Activision Blizzard. They own it. The people who run it are Spectacor Comcast, or Comcast Spectacor, whatever way around it is. It's just a corporate product. It's not real. And so, and they were already being run by, like, T1 anyway. So they just said, fuck it, let's go to Soul. But here's another problem, right? So obviously, fuck the fans, fuck this, brand new brand. There's already a team in Soul. Okay, let me get this straight. I paid $20 million to be in an exclusive league. You're now giving the slots away for free. I paid $20 million so I'd have access to the biggest esports market in the world, the Chinese market. You've took that away from me by making your game illegal because someone was rude in a meeting. And now, on top of that, the promised regional exclusivity that I paid $20 million for is gone as well, is it? I have to share territories against the explicit premise of the league. Oh, yeah, I'd be suing the pants off you. I don't even see how those owners could fucking lose at this point. Like, you have promised me everything and delivered fucking none of it. Where do you think it gets to next? Well, of course, the rumblings. But it's a good bit of solid reporting from Kevin Hitt. He does the newsletter now for the Sports Business Journal, and if people don't regularly consume esports content, people might just sign up to the newsletter. A lot of industry adjacent people, or, you know, the LinkedIn types, all subscribe to this because it gives you, like, some solid overview of what's happening in the landscape. So it's a good read. But he put this in the February 9th Sports Business Journal newsletter. Overwatch League format changes upset owners, which I imagine is putting it pretty fucking mildly. After what's been a tumultuous off-season for Activision Blizzard's Overwatch League, some owners are unhappy once again. And remember, my original reporting about this, like, I even did it back in 2017. I was talking about how, like, they thought they'd locked in people who were coming in, and then when they looked at the particulars and the products and got second opinions and secondary consultation, they all fucked off. I've been on top of this since day one. Yeah, the owners have been mad unhappy. There was, like, the league has no sponsors. Like, when it started, there were, like, tweets from, like, I don't know, people like Noah Winston, who's no longer in the industry, that he basically was, like, saying, fantastic financial activations with Activision Blizzard. They are generating sponsor revenue like nothing we've ever seen, and this is truly the model for the future. Now, I'm paraphrasing about that. I think Jack at the end said something similar. Obviously, Cloud9 have London Spitfire. But now, there's not a single fucking sponsor on their official league website. You know, apart from the ones that they use for, like, infrastructure. Because no one wants to advertise with Activision Blizzard. Every time you advertise with Activision Blizzard, you're slapping your logo on Bobby Kotick, essentially. Yeah, we've got this new McDonald's burger that McDonald's is my go-to corporation of my examples, and there's no way is reflective of McDonald's corporate values, which I'm sure are impeccable. Yeah, we've got this new burger we want to launch. We just need an influencer type, someone we can really get out there to sell the product, you know. We really want to get to that 1834 demographic, you know, hip, you know, young adults and adults that still know how to have fun and have a good time. Who should we get to advertise it? Oh, well, we could get that guy that was reported to have threatened to kill his female assistant while he was the fucking CEO of a company that is being sued into oblivion for all of the fucking transgressions and systemic abuses of women in its company, and is just a notorious, you know, asshole. That guy, we'll get him, shall we? Yeah, sounds good. So get your McCotick with a free side of breast milk. It's a fucking joke. Like, no sponsor is gonna fucking come and put their fucking logo on an Activision Blizzard product right fucking now. Forget about it. Oh yeah, maybe we can run an activation in the Cosby Suite. Holy shit, guys, wake the fuck up. Why haven't you fucking walked from this league is a better question. After what has been a tumultuous off-season for Activision Blizzard's Overwatch League, some owners are unhappy once again. After format changes were announced on Wednesday, the changes include a more open ecosystem that has left some owners wondering if they have just seen the value of their organizations take a hit. Spoiler, they absolutely have. But they have incrementally been diminishing in value year upon year ever since you bought them. Your franchise is essentially a penny stock now. Overwatch League's new developments include splitting the season into 2 stages with 2 global in-person events, blah, blah, blah. The league being divided into 2 regions, and the East region, which includes China and South Korea, and they are now permitting non-Overwatch League teams to compete for a chance to qualify and participate in the Overwatch League play. More than a few owners are unhappy with this. When Activision first pitched Overwatch League, part of the allure was that the teams that bought the slot, which cost between $25 million and $40 million, would have a near-exclusive stranglehold, and we all love those on this channel, on the competitive ecosystem, especially when it came to third-party tournaments. And while these rules softened over the years, they were originally put in place to position Overwatch League as the Premier League. But with Activision opening the ecosystem, owners are concerned that other organizations will now be able to take prize money, sponsorship opportunities, and even players away from the Overwatch League teams. This has many owners up in arms, as sources tell the Sports Business Journal. These changes were not voted on by the organizations. While the league solicited feedback from some owners, sources also tell the Sports Business Journal that the league made these decisions unilaterally. That last paragraph, let's unpack it. So, okay, this is the other problem. It's not just that by allowing people to compete in the league, you're essentially, devaluing my product. You are giving business rivals that didn't buy into the league free marketing and increased spending power. Like, let's say I'm a player. One of the things the Overwatch League has loved is this whole thing that all the players are on a minimum salary, and they were like, oh, look at us, we're on a minimum salary. I won't get into how derisory that minimum salary is for a professional, esports competitor. I won't get into how insane League of Legends salaries are by comparison, but obviously that is having a market correction right now. Anyway, we'll leave all of that, right? Like, we'll leave all of that on the table. But here's the problem. I have talent, and I have talented players on my team. They play on my team because they know this is the team you have to play on to be part of the Overwatch League, and they don't want to go to any of the other teams. I pay them what I have to pay them to retain their services. Now, there's another team. It's a contenders team, but maybe it's a contenders team that suddenly, with this newfound ability to get into the Overwatch League and have all this, can get some sponsors, get some spending. Maybe they make some insane offer to my player, and he goes, look, I don't care about the reputation of being a contenders team. I didn't want to play for any of the other guys because you've got us all locked up with the talent agents and everything, so it's really hard to even negotiate salaries because it's a monsopoly. But now with these new dudes coming in, I can actually I can go there and be the king. I can get myself a fucking mad 6-figure deal. So I'm off. See ya. Thanks, Activision Blizzard. You just fucked my team. I paid 20 million for this, and you fucked my team. It's so insane what they've done to their business partners. This is the best part, and this is the part I really went into hard in the esports gospel, so I won't do the same bit. They did this without even having a vote with the business partners that bought into the league. Remember all that joint ownership, joint project? None of that was practically applied. They've just made the decision that fucks over their business partners without even really listening to their business partner. And this is why this happens. And I've been telling people this for years, and y'all don't listen. See, you're an esports owner, dickhead. You think you're somebody important. You think you can swan around this industry doing what you want, making hypocritical deals with fucking evil tyrannies that oppress people that you then go and say you care about in a tweet the next week. And you think you can do all that, and you can say, oh, here's Jersey Mike's, here's Subway, here's this, here's that. And you get to do all that, and you pay yourself a 6-figure salary, and all the while you've got one eye on going to another industry while you just fucking suck the life out of this one for a 6-figure salary, and you get to act like you're important in every room you walk into. People like me are meant to worship people like you, right? And God knows you let us know it. But here's the reality. You're a fucking ant in the eyes of a games developer. Games developers, they don't have one eye on a fucking media job like you do. They have one eye on a Silicon Valley job. They make more money than you'll ever see in your fucking lifetime. Right? They make a product that has more value than the thing that you're attached to. And they're all out there microdosing at lunchtime, believing they're fucking megamind geniuses, when really they were just nerds who looked out with the industry getting big. And they look down on you. You thought your 20 million bought you a seat at Bobby Kotick's table if you're endemic to esports. The crafts get to sit at Bobby Kotick's table. You're an ant. You're an insect. That's how they view you. That's how they've always viewed you. I know they view you that way. They view me as less. They've essentially said it to my face for years. It's why Riot Games operates the way it does. It's why people like Mark Merrill say, oh, yeah, nice of you to be appreciative about the game that we built that enabled you to have a life. You thought $20 million would make you an equal, would make you a partner with them. No, they fucking think you're a joke. You clowns. How long have we had to put up with the fundamental problem with esports being the intellectual property laws mean the games developers will always have as much say and as much control as they want, and no one can do anything about it. You're not building an ecosystem. You live in theirs. You fucking idiot. And you just write checks for $20 million of other people's money. You think this industry works. You think it's fucking sustainable. And then you get punked like this. You should be embarrassed. As I said, these games developers types, they think they're gods among men. And like I say, they're not. They're so ordinary when you talk to them. They're so ordinary and yet they're so arrogant. I've met so many of them, all the fucking same. Doesn't surprise me, guys, that you got punked. You thought your league was going to be allowed to thrive. Has Activision Blizzard, by the way, not fucked up an esport? Let me just try and, let's go over this one. You bought into a company that fucks up every single esport it touches. It made one of the most successful ones by accident, and then when that one died due to rampant match fixing and technology changing, they then used the fucking disgruntled nature of the fans in the region that made StarCraft to push their sequel. And then all the gannets, there's a word for you probably don't hear often on a Twitch stream, that just follow esports projects around for self-enrichment, they all came out the woodwork, didn't they? And suddenly they loved StarCraft. I'm a massive fan of Brood War, me. Always loved some Brood War, me. Love that, right? And they told you they'd always been StarCraft fans. And hey, English-speaking, presentable, young, you know, broadcast talent. Just at the time we have the streaming boom, promoted your fucking esport to levels no one thought an RTS could get to. And then what did you do with it? WCS, started implementing your own ideas, started having a tournament every weekend in a never-ending convoluted circuit, refusing to work with Kesper, even though that's a ring you always got to kiss if you want to do anything esports related in South Korea. People were telling you you're going to have to start locking these regions because the Koreans don't like even doing interviews and people are walking away from the game. Meanwhile, characters like In Control and Idra and Stefano and Destiny all started walking away, and I'll give props to Destiny, called all of this just as League of Legends was ramping up and Riot went out and in the start pandered to everyone while you were saying no, StarCraft is an unimpeachable product. And then what happened by 2015? Just chronic match fixing again, all the things the South Korean fans were worried about taking over the game. You let it take over the game again, you did fuck all about it. That's their best effort. That's their best effort. These are the guys you're giving 20 million to build your esports league. MOBAs have took over. Let's make a MOBA with Diablo, World of Warcraft, and StarCraft intellectual property. Some of the most beloved characters in video games history. How can this fail? Then you build a game that is so fucking stale from day fucking one. They literally built it so the teams would have focus. And then you try to change it. I know everyone always tells me you're out of date with that shit. It did become more of an individual carry game towards the end. You were already thinking about franchise leagues. Then, I remember you went out and did deals with all the teams. Remember, some of the teams used to be in Heroes of the Storm. And then what happened with that? Well, you know, you were late to the MOBA party by about, 6 fucking years. Maybe more. You made a MOBA that, wasn't a lot of fun to play. You didn't create a lot of content around it. You let fucking tournament operators not fit to run a tournament run your fucking biggest tournaments. And nobody watched. And the viewership started declining and the game started dying. People started going to League. League got you twice, didn't it? And then what did you do? You waited in secret, didn't say anything about your plans. People went and signed housing agreements, rent deals, contracts with organisations, and then you told all your little crony journalist friends in advance that you were pulling the plug on all the official Heroes of the Storm esports support, and you turned it off overnight like it was a fucking light switch, and you fucked everyone's lives that was attached to that game. And by the way, when you're attached to an esport, you are a business partner of the game's developer, and this is how they treat you, with utter contempt. That was Activision Blizzard's second best effort. I mean, we can maybe make an argument to say World of Warcraft PvP was their second best effort. I won't bore you with the history around that fucking game and how that got fucking shanked. That got took out to the fucking woodshed. Here we are with Overwatch League, their third best effort. Why does anyone think Activision Blizzard know anything about esports? Why would you let them make any decision about an ecosystem you hope to profit from? Why would you ever do business with these people? I mean, listen, we didn't even know back then. Well, we sort of did, didn't we? We had suspicions, didn't we? But we didn't know how reprehensible a company it was, right? We didn't know how determined they were. The only area they ever overtook Riot in, seemingly, was fucking abuse and mistreatment of its workers. So they took that crown. They were very happy to do it. I've never seen a company generate negative headlines like fucking Activision Blizzard. It's actually freakish. These are the people you want to give $20 million for. It is hard to be sympathetic. But Activision Blizzard know nothing about esports, and they don't know nothing about esports because they know nothing about esports. They know nothing about esports because they refuse to be told by anyone in the industry what they're doing is wrong, because they are deluded fucking narcissists. You will never move a game developer to do something that is required to make an esport survive. They will they will and then they will do something else. And usually the thing they do is so far in the opposite direction, it's negative. You almost never want to make a suggestion, because if you never make suggestions and never complain, there's a chance they might accidentally do the right thing. That's esports. That's what we live with. That's the environment we have to build ecosystems in. So it is fucked from the start. The Overwatch League. There may be trouble ahead.